Hey guys, Brandy here. Welcome back to Sewing Back. I am outside and I really just wanted to do a very brief garden update. And I just wanted to kind of show you what an August garden looks like in the south. Ooh, wow, that tree's coming down. I don't know if y'all just heard that, but over in the woods over here, huge limb just fell. We have had storms all night, and this morning it is just now. We have like a lull, and we have more storms coming in this afternoon. It's August, and that's kind of what you expect this time of year, which this is why so many people will tell you in the south that their gardens are kind of spent by this time. They typically get blight from all the humidity, the fungal issues. You can do what you can do, but it's just kind of part of it. It's one of the reasons I love to take tomato suckers and root them and have them ready to plug back in when I need to tear those out, so that I'll have other tomatoes going in that are pretty well established. And that's what we do. Plus, you've already either grown those plants or paid for those plants. You might as well get the most bang for your buck. And so, anyway, I wanted to show you up front, we were cleaning out beds, and I'm going to turn the camera around so you can kind of see what the front garden looks like, and then we're going to run to the back. Okay, so this is my front garden door, and this is, a lot of it is bare. And you can see my muscadines. They're not quite ready. We're testing them. So we have 2 different muscadine trellis. They're 20 foot. They each have 20 foot, which is what you need for a muscadine trellis. One is green, one is bronze, and or maybe the green is the bronze, the other are grape. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. I apologize. That's more of John's endeavor. I just make the muscadine products. But they're crazy this time of year, and so they will come all into this garden. We trim some of the vines back, but they are getting ready. We have a couple of pepper plants here. My echinacea, I'm just waiting for these last little pieces to dry out, and I'll seed save from that. This is a 3-year-old echinacea. I have some peppers left in that bed. They don't look too great, so I don't know if I'll keep them there. But we were cleaning out these beds. We need to put some more compost. You can see how much they've went down for the spring and summer. And so we will definitely need to be putting more compost in and topsoil, which I get. You can get it by the truckload. Which we probably will do a truckload for the fall. It's so much cheaper. I have a video on that, but I'm getting these beds ready. This one we cleaned everything out except for that one spaghetti squash. Well, I say it's a spaghetti squash. I don't know that it's a spaghetti squash. It looks like one of the honey nut squashes. So it's some kind of squash. But one of them is ripening up. There's another one on the trellis. So we left those plants in there, but everything else has been cleaned up. We cleaned up all of the nasturtiums and cabbages. And so I'm getting ready for fall, trying to get beds ready for fall planting. This bed has my hot peppers. This bed's doing really great. So I can't plant brassicas and things in with peppers. So right now this bed has kind of been half empty. You don't really want to leave your soil empty, but it kind of is what it is. I might put some beans in there. I have enough time. I could do a bush variety and get some beans or whatever. This bed we messed with a little bit, but this has leeks in it, celery, rosemary, this viney mess that needs to be coming out. This is some lemon thyme, and that was supposed to be a dahlia that still has not bloomed. So yes, this has some of my herbs, some snapdragons, has some oregano, parsley. Some of this is arugula, I believe, and There was some radish in here, but they're really bitter, but I've been feeding them to the chickens. And you can see my zinnias built in here. And there's my sweet lantana. She's finally starting to take off. Strawberry bed, holy basil, and you can see the tomatoes. And a lot of them, we picked a whole bunch. A lot of them have split with all the rain. Those we're just trying to get out. We're letting them finish out, and then those are going to get pulled. My flower bed got some storm damage, actually. We pulled out these tomatoes. I did not pull out my wild bergamot yet because I really want to seed save, and then I want to clip it down. My beans, I took off a whole bunch of the beans, but they're still more drying. Those are my Cherokee black beans. That other bed we cleaned out, but it has my worm thing, my worm habitat. It has my curry plant. It has poke salad coming out of it, some flowers. And so there's still more work to be done. I have a few more pepper plants here. I did cut way back on my lemon balm. I have tons of this. This thing, I really want to move this over the winter because it takes away from my trellis and I can put it in a different bed. So the strawberries and the green stalks are doing well. I just honestly can't get to them, you know. So I need to remember that next year when I plant this bed, how I want to plant it. So, but if you look at the cherry tomatoes, you can see from the rain, they're all splitting. That one's okay. I'll snack on that. The back garden, and it's starting to sprinkle, so this will be pretty quick. I wanted to show you that I've heard a lot of YouTubers, gardeners say seeds don't go bad. Well, they may not necessarily go bad, but they may not germinate as well. And so I planted this up. I did have some older cucumber seed, and I have one that germinated, which is fine. I'm not going to reseed. I actually am thinking about doing some peas that I can trellis here, and not a big deal. But on the other side, it was a different variety, and these have come up. So I did do wildflowers in there a friend had given me. They have been very sporadic to come up. So I don't know. I have peppers in there. I'm just kind of waiting to see what happens. So these are our peppers, and these are what I'm talking about. We pulled out all those other tomatoes. These were sucker tomatoes that we had, and we planted them, and look at them. They're doing great. This is going to give us a fall crop of tomatoes, and some of these other ones are just about spent. We're still pulling off corn. I see some corn that might be ready. Maybe I can get this afternoon. And the boys were out here trying to weed eat. That one fell down in the storm. You see, this is some of these cheap tomato cages. It laid it down in the storm. So it's kind of sprawled out everywhere. Now I have to say, that doesn't look too promising for my 3 sisters. Wow. It looks like the wind blew some of it. That's okay. I hear you. I don't know where you're at out there, but I hear you. So you can see now my other one, this is another variety. I think that's a paste tomato. That one's actually doing pretty good. This was probably, I thought that was a paste tomato, but that ain't a paste tomato because that's a small bed. If you can see my pepper, I have peppers back here. I've been picking them. And then peppers. Look how tall these Mexican sunflowers are. I still have tomatoes in this back bed. Look at my pumpkins. My pumpkin trellis worked. I really do like it. Oops, sorry. So this pepper bed's still doing really well. That is my rose tomato, and I finally are getting some rose tomato, but you can see the disease I'm getting. I'm gonna have to come out and prune that and try to get that disease off. This should go until frost. These are about spent, and this bed will be cleaned out for fall. I got another bee house. It was clearanced out at Walmart, and I cleaned out those zucchini that were in here, and yeah, it's rotted. But I do have another, that right there is a cantaloupe. It was hid underneath all the zucchini. So those may end up getting pulled out. I don't know. We'll see. This bed, I still have a little bit of bee balm. See, it's just in these storms, they're just snapping. And they're falling like that. Like, that's a huge limb. I can see though that I'm starting to get some green bean blooms in there. This is my other corn. It doesn't look bad. I'm sure it's enjoying all this rain that we've been getting. So, and I'm still getting bee action on these things. All right, so we'll walk through the trellis. We did try to clip these so it would quit putting on pumpkins and it would work with what it has. But see, that's a new pumpkin. It's doing okay. My beans are coming up. So I'm not sure how all this will get intertwined. This will be fun to clean out in the fall. This bed is almost on its last. These tomatoes have seen better days, but this is where I have my eggplants and a lot of my basil. And so, but I'm thinking this will be a fall bed. This one has, oh, that tomato took a hit in the storms. Well, we'll have to fix that. These are all my peppers. These will do good until the frost. Those are all my bells. Bell peppers in Georgia they really show out in September and October. I want to show you my sweet potatoes. And we did have a huge king snake that visited the chicken coop last week. And I think he lives in the sweet potato patch. But these sweet potatoes look fantastic. So we have that going. Here is my tomato, and this has my tomato, which honestly the tomato plant doesn't look great. The okra look really good, and there are beans in there somewhere. And oh, these are my little sunflowers. I don't know if you can see that bee. They're starting to lean down. I had transplanted my lemon tree, orange tree, and my olive tree, and they're all doing great. And I'll take you and show you that in a minute, but I want to look over here because I think something ate my rutabagas. They're like gone. Okay, I can see that is a remnant, not much of one. It looks like something came through here and ate them out of this bed. And y'all saw on my last video I have a chipmunk. Because I had beautiful rutabagas in here. Like this one's still here. That one looks okay. But if it ate all the greenery, it can't make photosynthesis to grow. And a lot of these, some of them look like they kind of shriveled, but that is frustrating, y'all. But that's gardening. That is gardening. And I can see where they were clipping around, cutting all the grass. Like I said, they were out here yesterday. I'll have to ask John about that. But I want to show you my watermelon patch. Okay, so we came out here 2 nights ago, John and I, and we clipped the ends because we want what's left in this season, the energy, to go into growing our watermelons. We have several. I don't know if you can see that one in there. See that? And so we cut, like here's a little baby one. but we cut them so they'll quit putting on new fruit. Look at that one. They'll quit putting on new fruit and these will grow. So, and I have a pumpkin back there that's all the way going on the back side. And I have a pumpkin, and what's funny is we don't know what this pumpkin variety is because I planted a couple of them and only one came up, but I don't remember which is which. So there are also some pumpkins in there. We cut the pumpkin vines. It doesn't look like it, but we did. And we have picked some okra. And of course, those are some of our tomato suckers back there as well. So, and we got some more tomatoes off of there as well. I'm looking to see if I see any okra. I don't think I see any that are ready. I think we got all the ones because I'm wanting to do a vegetable soup and I like to put some okra in that and can it. And you have to look because those little okras, ooh, they can hide. And like I said, our snake friend, he was huge. I didn't have a camera. I was dying. My chickens got really quiet. He got into the nesting box and then he left, but it made me very nervous. But he was a good snake. So I know that, oh, that's a huge one. Hold on. I'm trying not to hurt any of my pumpkins where I step. Let's see. Yeah, see, that's too big. This one is huge. And all my flowers on my crepe myrtle, they're about done. I think that's probably the last of that. Oh, somebody picked a couple tomatoes and left them out here. Those look like some nice ones. All right, so let's look in the greenhouse. That is spent. It was gorgeous, but it's done. So let me show you my other plants. So these are my onions. I started on 7:30. This is the Sun Glow. Yes, this is the Sun Glow fertilizer. These are all the Vermont compost. That's where the rutabagas were. And they were great. I have pictures you'll see in this video, and now they're gone, except for those two. And these are looking really good. This is all my brassicas. And this weekend, I want to start a whole nother tray because as you see, I have lots of beds and I will have places to put them out. And these are frost hardy, so these can go, you know, unless we get some kind of crazy weird fall, we could be getting these vegetables and picking these vegetables well into, you know, Christmas. So wouldn't that be something? I'd love to have my own broccoli that I could pick and make a broccoli casserole for Christmas. I think that would be a great goal. And these were, this was my great potato harvest. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. And yeah, so I don't even want to talk about regular potatoes because me and regular potatoes apparently do not mix. But these are all looking great and I am thankful. And honestly, I do feel like maybe there was a slight edge on the Vermont compost with the onions and the rutabagas. They did come up there first, but I would say it's negligible when you're looking at the cost of the two different, you know, soils to plant in. So, and honestly, I feel like the Sun Glow, I know those didn't germinate right there. I feel like those blocks held together pretty well. I mean, these held together kind of well. So anyway, that is what a garden looks like in, let's see, today is the 10th of August in Kennesaw, Georgia, growing zone 7B. And honestly, I would say this is pretty typical. If I had not pulled out things and done my garden reset there would be a lot more disease than there is in my garden. I have enough time. Like I said, it was worth the gamble to me to plant some more cucumbers, to plant some more beans, to plant some more okra, because I have enough time, more than enough time in a normal growing season here. If you don't have as many beds as I do, you want to go ahead and start getting these things planted and start in your head thinking about tearing things out in your bed, starting to prep your soil. You don't want to do it too soon because you don't want your soil just sitting there baking. So even if you have some plants that don't look great, it's better to leave them there if you don't have something to put in their place than just to let your soil sit there and bake. And if your soil is sitting, make sure you're watering if you're not getting rain. Because there's a lot of life in good soil and it needs water. So don't forget that. It's an important tip in horticulture, because I know in my horticulture science class, you know, when we think about dirt, dirt is dead, soil is living, soil is what will produce living things. Dirt, like I said, is dead, it will produce dirt, nothing. And so you don't want dirt, you want soil, and you want to keep your soil healthy, and it's an investment. So anyway, I still have lots of room in the greenhouse. I will not plant every bit of space I have out for the fall garden and stuff like that. I'm going to plant some spaces. Some I actually just let my stuff kind of die and compost in place over the winter, because I have a lot of pollinators. I have a lot of volunteer bees and things like that. I don't have honeybees, but I have done really well with my bee houses and just making sure that my pollinators have a place to go, rest, and over winter, and they're always here early in spring. So sometimes I leave beds like that because that does give them a safe place to go and you know, do their thing. And then I typically will reset them, clean them up when we get closer to growing in early spring. I appreciate you stopping by the garden. I hope that your gardens are flourishing, or maybe you're just dreaming of a garden next year. Don't wait. Build you a bed and grow something this fall, or get you some containers and grow it on your patio, or get you some grow bags. They're cheap. They really are pretty cheap. And grow in there. You need a square foot for most brassicas. So one broccoli plant would fit in that grow bag. So you'd only get one, but that's not the point. The point is you're going to learn how to do it, how to grow a brassica, and be successful with it. Most of those grow bags, I think they come in packs of, I think 6 or 10, something like that, depending on where you get them. You know, so you could do, you could do different items. And but I encourage you to try it and get your family involved, get your kids involved, or grandkids. Because my love of gardening came from my grandmother. My grandmother was a master gardener, and if they had a master canner, she was that too. But I have a great passion for the garden because of the time I spent in the garden as a child with my grandmother. And honestly, my husband has a great passion for the garden, and he spent a lot of time with his grandparents and his parents. His parents they for a long time grew a pretty sizable garden as he was growing up. So those things do matter. And even if your kids are complaining or whatever, as they get older, those are things that they will come back to, and they're great skills to have. So with that, I thank you for watching. I hope you have a blessed day, and I will see you next time. Bye.